But President Biden, when he was a candidate, said there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. Yeah. So what changed?
We are not finishing the wall.
If walls work in that part of Arizona, is this the administration trying to get migrants to cross somewhere else, like in Texas? What is the plan?
We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the prior administration made. We are trying to save lives. This is what the prior administration left behind that we are now cleaning up.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Wally, and you are now tuned into PBH TV.
Hey, this the king of melodies beat.
Yo, we back with some more world news. I got a new one on deck for y'all today. I got your boy Peter Doocy going at it, going against Karine Jean-Pierre. We already know both of them are arch nemesis. They always going at it, very sarcastic, very slick with the mouth. You understand what I mean? So if you don't know what I mean, let me go ahead and press play. Before I do that, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and definitely hit the notification bell. Also, join the Patreon if you want to support the channel any further. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karine. President Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Why does White House staff treat him like a baby?
Got him!
They definitely do treat him like a baby, though. I mean, they walk him up the steps, they walk him down the steps. They got to show them which way is left, which way is right. I mean, we seen that a few days ago, no? You already know.
No one treats the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, like a baby.
So there's this book that says
that's ridiculous.
When staff
it's a ridiculous
back
claim.
What sounded like a call for regime change in Russia, the president, quote, rather than owning his failure, he fumed to friends about how he was treated like a toddler. Was John Kennedy ever babied like that?
So look, I'll say this. There's going to be a range, always a range of books that are about every administration, as you know, that's going to have a variety of claims. That is not unusual. That happens all the time. And we're not going to litigate those here. That's something that we're not going to speak to.
But at the end of the day, answer the question. We're not concerned with what other administration. We're concerned with this administration. The time is now. This is current. Answer the question, woman.
Why? There is one thing that I do want to, because I think I was asked this question last week by one of your colleagues about this particular excerpt that they were referring to. And so I'll say this, we did see the excerpt, the context of the excerpt, and it seemed to be making the opposite overall point about how the value of his experience and wisdom resulted in rallying the free world against authoritarianism, which is important. We have seen this. You all have seen this.
No.
And passage of the most historic agenda in recent history in his handling of foreign policy, like rallying the world around Ukraine, as you just heard from our national security advisor, who laid out in really good questions that your colleagues asked about how the president is moving forward, about Ukraine, about kind of leading into these conversations that he's going to be having at the G20.
All I want to know is, what is her skincare routine? I just came here for that. Her skin is flawless, baby. You understand what I mean? Otherwise than that, bunch of hoopla and lies I'm seeing right now, you know?
Why do you think it is that in a Wall Street Journal poll, 2/3 of Democrats think President Biden is too old to run again?
Look.
Got him! Got him!
He's super old.
Here's what I know. Here's what I can speak to. I can speak to that a president who has wisdom. I can speak to a president who has experience. I can speak to a president who has done has taken historic action and has delivered in historic pieces of legislation.
Again, how does that answer the question? Not for nothing, she's a great speaker. She knows how to talk a good game. Hence, game, all right? People like this, always got to listen to them and pay attention and stay focused, so you could bring them right back to reality, because all they try to do is talk, and get you away from you trying to figure out what you originally asked them.
No.
And that's important. When the last guy who was in the Oval Office talked about infrastructure week, it was a joke. And the president passed
last
a pretty
guy.
important piece of legislation in a bipartisan way because of his wisdom, because of his experience. And now we have infrastructure decade.
You liar!
And it doesn't stop there.
Yeah, man. Look, yo, she really just trying to paint a good picture of your man Byron. But look, Peter Doocy, he is like the living human form of kryptonite. Remember what kryptonite was to Superman? This is what he is to her right here. I'm telling you. And I don't know how she goes home and look at herself in the mirror. Does she even believe the stuff she say? Like, I mean, I'm sure she believes it here because she has to sell it. But when she leave and she goes to her own home, does she believe this? I know she can't.
It starts last week. We talked about how the president beat Big Pharma, something that elected officials and politicians have been trying to do
More
for
like
33
John.
years, and he's been able to do that. And we introduced the first tranche, the first 10 drugs that Medicare can now negotiate on, right? And it's going to save money for our seniors, for Americans across the country. The gentleman that introduced the president, Stephen, who's 71 years old, paying.
You see, you notice how they love to make drugs, but how about fixing the issue at hand? Wow, like, how about a preventative care, right?
Right? And it's going to save money for our seniors, for Americans across the country. The gentleman that introduced the president, Stephen, who's 71 years old, paying $16,000 a month. $16,000 a month just to stay alive because he had cancer and diabetes. And he cannot retire because he has to pay $16,000 a month. And because of the work that this president has done, he doesn't have to do that anymore.
Oh, right.
And I'll say one last thing. I know you have a follow-up, probably about 5 more, but let me just say this one last thing, is that
Sarcasm.
the interesting thing about this is that the president has done these historic pieces of legislation, whether it's the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, whether it's the American Rescue Plan, whether it's CHIPS and Science Act, whether it's the Inflation Reduction Act. There are some Republicans, right, in the House, in the Senate, that did not vote for any of these legislations that I just laid out, who go back to their state, go back to their district, and take credit for something that the president did. So this is not unusual. They did this
What
in
did he do?
2019, they did this in 2020, and they did this in 2022, and the president continues to prevail.
Ridiculous bullshit.
An official who is associated with Chinese state media is suggesting that if Speaker Pelosi tries to go to Taiwan, her plane could be shot down. Does the president have a response to that?
You know, I've been asked about, I know you're asking specifically about the rhetoric that we're hearing from China, but as it relates to the speaker's travels, it's something that we're just not going to speak to.
Why not?
Why?
Right now, that's a hypothetical. We're just not going to speak on her schedule. As we have said
Yeah,
multiple
for no
times, we
schedule.
give advice and guidance to any members of Congress where they travel, to the region they travel, whether an advice on geopolitical situation in the region or in the country, and any national security issues that may arise. But again, I'm not going to speak to a hypothetical.
Okay, and on another subject, why is the Biden administration building a border wall in Arizona?
Here we go.
So we're not finishing the wall. We are cleaning up the mess the prior administration left behind in their failed attempt.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. She fast with the words though. She is super fast. She's the best liar I ever seen ever.
To build a wall. And I just want to be very, very clear here. On day one, we returned the money, the $8 billion the prior administration took from our military. We gave that back.
Oh, really?
To the military for military families.
We already know where that went, right? It ain't go back to no military. If anything, you gave it to another military, and we know who that is, the big U, baby, right?
for schools, for bases. That's what that money was being used. That's what it was taken away from. And so again, what we're doing is cleaning up the mess that the prior administration has done.
But President
Oh,
Biden,
really?
as a candidate, said there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
Yeah.
So what changed?
We are not finishing the wall.
If walls work in that part of Arizona, is this the administration trying to get migrants to cross somewhere else, like in Texas? What is the plan?
We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the prior administration made.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
By you saying we're cleaning up the mess, it's still leaving a broad, open lane for people to have opinions. You understand what I'm saying? Answer the question, woman.
We're trying to save lives. This is what the prior administration left behind that we are now cleaning up.
You gotta stop doing that, okay? It is weird.
By finishing the wall, is this
We are not finishing the wall.
by filling in, finishing,
We are not finishing the wall.
by filling in, is this racist? Because in 2019, when the former guy was proposing a wall, you said that it was his racist wall.
Hey, I remember that. Everyone was saying that. Even I was tricked into saying, yeah, man, he got to be like that. Why would you want to build a wall? But now, understanding everything, the logistics, the politics of everything, he wasn't crazy.
So how is this any different? I'm just having a hard time understanding how this is any different.
I'm not even sure how you get to your first question to this question that you just asked
Who
me. I will
cares?
say this: a
What's
border
the
wall.
difference?
I'm answering your question. A border
Really?
wall is ineffective use of taxpayer dollars. So it's ineffective of taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
Dollars that actually went to the
So you
military.
use
that
it for the border,
the
huh?
last administration, the prior president took from the military, which took away from schools, which took away from military bases.
Okay, number one, this country is not number one in education. So for her to say that they took money away from schools, I mean, do you see any difference? No. So with that being said, lady, miss me with the lies and the rhetoric. Word.
That's what that money that he pulled away from to build this wall that he wanted, that is ineffective, by the way, which I just said. Just recently,
We heard you.
CBP reported that new bollard fencing along the southwest border was breached 3,272 times between fiscal year of 2019 and 2021, requiring $2.6 million in repairs. It's ineffective. We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the last administration made. Okay.
What a load of crap!
Yep, with that being said, what a load of crap, baby. Alright. So yo, you let me know. Go in the comments. Are you buying what she's selling? Cause I sure ain't. I just shut my door on her, right? So you already know, baby. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys on the next one. Also, don't forget, join the Patreon if you want to support this channel any further. Let's go.